All right. Think we're back. I'm getting an echo. Okay. All right, guys. I'm just gonna make sure we're all humming and going. I see Periscope kicking back in. I see YouTube kicking back in. Um, couldn't tell you what happened there. Something in the universe that is internet. Oh, absolutely just shattered. So thanks for sticking around. If you guys were waiting, sorry to waste your time. That is just the way she goes sometimes with all this fun technical stuff. Um, Okay, let's get reset here. It's Monday. It is January 18th. We're only halfway through the first month of the year. I'd really like to pull up a few charts today. Obviously, we're going to do a lot of charting. I want to share with you guys a couple of okay, that's loud. Need to turn that off. I'm going to set up a few setups with you guys. I want to share some setups with you guys. Learning how to trade is a long process. It takes time. The school I went to, TRI, I talk about it all the time, rationalinvestor.com. That's a 12-week program times 3. Okay, so what I'm going to try to share with you today is some of the things that I use as a trader, some from TRI, some that I've developed myself. And it's not meant to be a replacement, really, right? I mean, I cannot in 1 hour or any amount of time close to that get here and be like, yeah, when you do this, you'll suddenly learn how to trade. There's so much to it. But I do want to go over a couple of technical setups because I talk about things like the pump chaser zone, RLZ, divergence. I talk about that stuff all the time. And it occurs to me that if you don't put it together quite right, if you don't have that encapsulating strategy around it, it's kind of useless. And it's all easy in retrospect. It looks great in hindsight. I love charting it after the fact and in advance. But I think to be super helpful for you guys as viewers, especially that we're into this place now where I think the pump chaser zone is about to be our new best friend again, like it was this summer. I'm going to go over again, very specifically, one setup that I used over a year ago now, and I inked it all up and I made it all pretty. And with that setup, you can really apply it everywhere and it'll hit, 40, 50, 60% of the time, depending on the day, depending on how it's applied. And then the key is, of course, risk management. For every dollar I risk, if I'm making $3, I don't have to be right even half the time. If I'm making $4 for every dollar I risk, then I can be wrong quite a bit. And over time, the equity curve will grow. So that's what we're going to talk a bit about today. I do respect the pump. Okay. Nice big meme coming out of Ivan on Tech. I had a good laugh. The internet's pretty great the way they mash that up. So let me just get over to altcoin market cap. This is the thing I want to talk about today. Let's get it up here on the screen. That's not the one. That is not the one. Or is it? Oh, maybe it is. It's had this geared up before. So we just had oh, no, that's definitely not the one. Total cap. Altcoin total market cap. Yes. Okay, let's pull that up. I'm going to get my charts going. So shout out to you guys for sticking around and coming back. So appreciate you guys. Again, couldn't tell you what happened there. Producer is a godsend, just running around, fixing it all up, reposting, recreating. It's weird. Like you'd think if it's connected real quick, that YouTube wouldn't be like, the stream has ended and make you restart everything. They'd be like, oh, we'll just reconnect you. Bit of a nightmare, but it's the way it goes when you're live. So here's what I want to start with today. Okay. I've got some weekly views. If you guys didn't notice, on our Twitter at Real Hero Labs, I've started putting out a weekly views from the lab segment on Sunday nights, Monday during the day, depending on the week. And it's just going to give us a nice breakdown. Not this one. Yeah. Not that one. This one. Not that one. It's going to give you a nice breakdown of everything. So this kind of thing from last night on a weekly time frame. So I'll post it once a week. It will update the sort of most recent weekly candle, and we'll just kind of follow it along. And over time, obviously, sometimes not a whole lot changes on the weekly, but when you do get a strong signal on the weekly, you should pay attention. So right now we are consolidating in this daily range, and you can see it a little more clearly over here. Okay, so this is a new candle body high that was created. This is a candle body low. And right now we're just consolidating. You can see that a little more clearly right here. Right, we are just in this consolidation pattern, which, as you can see from my squiggly, sort of what I expected, that we would just kind of be stuck in here, which is great news. That's where altcoins get to play. So we're looking over here at the weekly. or excuse me, the daily. Now what we've got is if this breaks and closes below here, that's pretty bearish, right? That's like, oh, look, we had this big rally. Now we've put in an M top. We've closed below that neckline. Wherever that candle goes, I'm not rushing to short, but I'm waiting for the squeeze up. And then I have to exit. That's my strategy. It just says when you get an M top, you start to take risk off the table. It's not like go 100% cash, but it's like I'm thinking short. I don't want to think short right now. I think we're really bullish. I am very bullish. The market looks very bullish. But if that technical level closes below, I have to start thinking sell the next bounce and then just see where I land. Likewise, if we cut above here, then we've got this nice higher low breakout, right? Wherever that ends up going, it would be very bullish. Until those breaks happen, and one of them will eventually, we are just stuck in this range. And it looks a lot like this, and it's very tricky to trade. I personally, I'm not rushing to trade this. A fib pong, obviously, get in here, long the reload zone off of this bounce up. There's a fib pong play there, sell it in the short reload zone, comes back down. Maybe you load it up in the reload zone. I mean, that's the fib pong. I was doing a lot of that earlier, as you guys know, but right now there's so much opportunity in altcoins. And this chart just makes me think that that's, on the whole, that's probably where the opportunity lies. So, you can see here, last time Bitcoin broke its previous all-time high. This is the weekly chart that followed for altcoins market cap. Of course, there was an ICO craze that year. There was a lot of new coins coming in. You should factor that in. Ethereum blew up, went from like under $70 all the way up to 1,300. So there was a lot of new coins and big coins doing big things. Here, Bitcoin just broke its all-time high, and we've now had 3 green weeks since. And I expect that to accelerate. Not calling tops on this market. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to get a straight line, but for now, look at the Bitcoin dominance. We had the really strong squeeze up. It looked like it was never going to stop. It was going to go all the way up. But in the end, and we can actually see that a little more clearly over here. And .D, if you ever want to look up Bitcoin dominance. Let's take a look here on the weekly. There's a key level here. If you draw from the highs all the way back in February 2017, basically 3-4 years ago now, and then you draw it all the way to the lows, you still get this big fib short reload zone, and we just tagged it. Kind of swept the highs here. I mean, you would think it's not the same. It's a dominance chart, so you can't think like somebody swept the highs, took the liquidity, and dumped it. But it's interesting that it still plays those patterns, right? And we got up into this resistance, swept those highs, tagged the 618, and then just tanked, just dropped. And this close, right? I was looking here last week thinking, oh, we're going to get a bullish retest here, or is it a rejection here? We're just sandwiched. Well, we closed the weekly below this wick high throwback. To me, that does speak to some bearishness, which is good. A nice little confirmation. The bigger confirmation here on the weekly is right here. The biggest is right here. Getting closes below that would be an accelerated move. Ultimately, this year, I would like to see us hitting 50%. And I know when Bitcoin's rallying, people like to scoff at that. They say, oh, you're a moon boy. Bitcoin's never going to go all the way down to 50%. But think about what's being built, right? Bitcoin is exciting. Don't get me wrong. It's doing some big, crazy things for the world. It's acting as a potential reserve currency someday. It's acting as a store of value. It's doing a damn good job at that. And, as we talk about some of these institutional players coming in, they're not here like, oh, to make a quick buck off Bitcoin. They're just trying to protect the capital they already have. They're billionaires, millionaires, trillionaires, right? They just don't want to lose it all if the US dollar goes to shit, if the stock market goes to shit, if everything else that exists goes to shit. They want to know that there's this weird mathematically capped supplied item that they can digitally transfer for fairly cheap that can't be shut down by any single government, blah, blah, blah. It's a very attractive offer when you're already stinky rich and it's all about just hedging so that you don't lose everything. That's what they're here for. So again, Bitcoin, sexy, but think about what's being built in altcoins. Ethereum, the world computer. Sure, I think it's way too slow. I don't even think it could scale with ETH 2.0. Doesn't mean it's not going to be successful. It just means it may have to act as a settlement layer. It may have to act as something, like, I don't know, for you guys who trade on Uniswap, it's slow as shit. It's expensive at all the best times. Hey, look at that. There's a big pump. Do you want to sell your bag? It's going to cost you $200. Hey, look, big nasty dump. Want to go buy the dip? It's going to cost you. It's not pleasant for trading, and it's only one platform. I mean, imagine like when Uniswap takes off, as it has this year, and when there's volatility, it just crushes the whole network. All the DeFi liquidity is going in and out, blah, blah, blah. It cripples it. So even if they 1000x the throughput with ETH 2.0, I just don't see it keeping up. So there's things like Solana, things like HBAR, things like ADA. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. Like, I don't know much about ADA. I don't hold any, but I hear that one coming up a lot in that kind of discussion. Waves crushing lately, actually looking like it might break out. So there's a lot of other blockchains that are going to be able to host some of the more labor intensive parts of these applications, of these products, protocols. And then they can go back and settle over on the Ethereum network and still capture that. How's it going, Alex? Good to see you. Welcome. And Neon Milo Exiloto, good to see you, and appreciate you came over here from Twitter. We're definitely on there at Real Hero Labs, and myself at Random Task 555. If you guys ever want to follow along, I don't really post trade setups on Real Hero Labs, but if I post some good analysis on there that I think something's really bullish and I take a position, I'll usually fire that chart more specifically off of my own Twitter for legal reasons, blah, blah, blah. We don't do financial advice either way, but I can do a lot more on my own account. So you should follow both. So anyways, if you guys haven't already and you want to hit the like and the sub, that's great too. While you're here, while we're hanging out, waiting, I got a lot to unpack today. So let's keep her going. Point is, there's so much excitement in the altcoin space. And of course, when it comes hot and heavy. You got Polkadot, right? You got Atom, these kind of interoperability protocols that are going to be linking the way. And they're doing quite well right now, I must say. In fact, they're doing so well. I want to go look at them. And Atom is just breaking out. We've been watching this one on our Twitter. If I size this correctly, it'll look a lot neater. There we go. Big breakout on volume. The real hint to me was this breakout here on volume. That's where I thought, okay, cool. We closed above this key level. Then it's like, okay, all dips are for buying. That last Monday, we got a nasty one. Can't say I had bids set working, buying the dip at the exact level, but I did load up that day somewhere in this range. And, now it's like, okay, we want to talk about setups today. How did I, see in advance that this, how did this fit my criteria? And then where do I take profit? Do I just blindly take profit here because I'm up a bunch? Or do I have a technical reason to take profit? Do I have a profit objective where once I make, $1,000, doesn't matter, I'm just going to take it because I can't stand to watch $1,000 disappear? There's a lot of that kind of thinking to go into it. And so we're going to talk a little bit about it. There's no one size fits all. And that's something that I found really annoying as a new trader. You're walking around, you're like, okay, cool, like setups, yeah, do this, yeah, but like, just tell me yours. Tell me how you do it, and I'll just copy that. And that's the most obvious way. And I used to get frustrated. People would be like, no, you got to kind of figure it out for yourself. It's very personal. I'm going to do my best to just tell you guys what I do, and then you can pull from that and say, that makes sense, I'll try that. Or, what, that doesn't really speak to me. I'm just going to stick to my support and resistance or whatever. Like, you guys got to kind of find what works for you. And I know, and I'm very happy to hear that a few people from the stream have reached out to me and said, dude, those fibs are magic. I love them. They're crazy. So cool. And I agree. So naturally. Now, first of all, if you want to use the fibs, here are the settings for the retracement and the extension. I added in the color schemes here. I had a couple of people ask. They say, yo, those charts look dope. I want to add some color to my chart. None of this like drab gray, like even the old gray background. Now I'm working on the pure black. It's nice and shiny and neon. So screen grab this, pause later on. You can check this out. And once you open it, and then the cool thing is if you use TradingView, which by the way, you should, you can save templates. So I have my fib. I click right here. I can save as, so that all those settings get saved. You don't have to keep recreating them. And as you can see, I've got a few. So with that in mind, let's take a look at Atom. This went out on our Twitter last night as part of the weekly thread that I did. And this is a really nice, simple way that I have been chasing. Can a noob ask? Yeah, dude, I love noob questions. I don't even think, people are like, oh, it's a dumb question. I was like, honestly, I guarantee you if somebody in here is wondering something, somebody else is also. So please take the plunge, ask a question. That's great. You seem really knowledgeable in blockchain and crypto in the space instead of just price action and TA. Yeah, appreciate that, Neon Milo. I'm definitely up to my eyeballs in things beyond TA, more so lately. I think I got lost in the charts a little bit in the summer and was just charting and forgetting to learn about new protocols and new alpha. Now I'm getting more into that stuff again, kind of balancing my life. My New Year's resolution. Nice bot working on Atom. Yeah, the bot setup. Now, the bot setup's a little complicated. I'm not going to get into that today. On the whole, it's one of the easier ones, but it's got so much to unpack. But I do have a few things I want to share. TradingView screening tool settings. Yeah, you know what? Edge, I haven't set that up. He's asking about this stock screener, I guess, down here. Crypto screener. Yeah, no, I'd actually love to dive into that. If you have any thoughts on that? This is one that I had like on a to-do list, like dive into the stock screener, check it out. You know, screeners being things that thin the herd, right? So it's like, I only want to look at something with a certain amount of volume, or I only want to look at stuff that's a certain percentage from its lows. You can screen that, and then you get your criteria, and it kicks you out like a short list, and then you can start hunting setups on that short list. It's actually a super handy tool. But personally haven't gotten into it. I'll show you guys. Actually, I have my own screener that I use just manually. Probably so much easier ways to do it. But luckily, you guys have me sitting here for free Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 2 p.m. on Hero Labs Live. And I often just share all my short lists with you guys anyways. So I've got my purple list. These are a lot of the positions that I'm actually in. I've got my green list. These are a bunch of positions that I think, I might hunt. Should probably sort those. I got a blue list with just a few shitty stocks that I actually don't have positions in yet. And then an orange list, I think is like a month and a half old. So I'd have to probably go through that. But let's just walk through this real quick. Because I talk about the pump chaser zone all the time. And I really just do it offhandishly just to be like, look, guys, it breaks out. I know it's sexy. It's exciting. It's going to blow. And if you zoom out, it's just getting started, in my opinion. It's a weird place to call tops on it as a whole. So sure, you want to be a trader, you want to invest a little bit, you throw some money in. Well, this thing's breaking out on volume. I think the probability is decent that just buying something right around now, it is just January. We are in sort of a bull market, is liquidity cycle number 1 coming out of the bull on Bitcoin into some other coins. That should cycle through into Ethereum, which it did, into the mid caps, down into the micros and the small caps. Then probably go back into the Bitcoin for the next leg, right? That's what I see happening. All that stuff. Sure, but, and there is a but, you have to know who you are, what your goals are. If you want to be an investor, you want to be a speculator, you want to sit here through an entire cycle because you got busy life and all this stuff to do. Well, anywhere in here is worth a little punt, a small one, I think. Just my 2 cents. Because of this chart, right? I mean, if you think that this here is going to do anything like that, then parking a few in some strong projects now and not looking for a year is great. Most people can't do that though. They'll go too big at the worst time, right? All through here, it's hum ha, looks like shit, and then it'll peak, it'll pop, it'll be on like bearish divergence, it'll be the first leg ending, and they'll just YOLO in so hard, probably on margin or leverage. And then it'll come down into a very normal reload zone, liquidate them, and then continue, right? So anyways, it's a tricky overall conversation. And that's why most people, including myself, say things like, this is not financial advice, blah, 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 because it's not. But I will share with you what I use this for. So let's do it. You get a key level. Learning how to identify key levels is a skill in and of itself. Takes some simple understanding, but basically, you get these resistances. I can probably take it on the daily, right? So look how every time price gets up here, it gets knocked back down. I bet if we go back, there's some levels there. Sort of right here. Not really. But it happened here, and then it happened here, and then here it closed above. So you could say it has broken out. Okay, so that is a key level. And when the key level breaks, and there's a lot of volume behind it, you can say with a certain amount of confidence that that's a breakout. And if there's a big, long consolidation ahead of it, there's probably going to be quite a bit of juice there. So sorry for the messy words. They get weird when I switch it around. So again, identify key level, not just something that's, I get it. If you're new to charting, that's like, what the hell is a key level? But that's the idea, right? A key level where every time price gets there, it gets rejected. Oh, look at this time. It didn't. It broke out and there was tons of volume. Oh my God, it's starting something new. But how do you chase that, right? How do you get in at a place where you can risk to a low so that if you're wrong, which sometimes you are, often I am, you can get the fuck out and lose minimal money. But if you're right, you can ride it out and make many multiples more. Well, as that breakout happens, I drag this up. Didn't share these settings, but this is the pump chaser fib. It's very simple, 0 and 1, and then 0.382 and 0.5. 382 is an important Fibonacci level. Often I call it, or it is referred to as the first stop by Brian Beamish, head of TRI, my mentor, the guy who taught me all this. Now, he didn't actually create the pump chaser zone. That's my little creation. We're working together on that now. He likes to use the term as well, which I love. I'm flattered, honored, I should say. And so I get up to that first breakout point and I start thinking, man, I really want an atom, but I'm not going to chase these highs. Fuck that. Never. Won't do it. Can't. Because on the whole, that's just how you get wrecked, because even though this broke out, it could just range for a while. So you're just long, wrecked, breaks again, long, wrecked, right? You don't want to get chopped up. I don't. So I set this up, pump chaser zone. I can set fibs here or bids here. I can set bids here. If they hit, then I have to look for stop losses. I can stop loss right below the 0.5. Kind of risky. I find often these things come down like, come down, even like this, and just kind of wick that a little bit, and then they go. So I don't like to use the 0.5, but look at that. Key pivot low. If that gets taken out, I'm probably wrong. Then yeah, you hear sometimes they're like, oh, they're hunting my stops, and then it goes, and that does happen. And that is why we manage risk, because even on a great setup, that can happen. But you do have to pick a level, and the tighter the level you pick to your entry, the bigger size you can take for the same amount of risk, right? So if I'm risking 20% on the position, I have to make it pretty small to only risk a certain percentage of my portfolio. But if I risk right here, tight, then I can size up pretty huge, because if that gets stopped out, I still only lose this small percentage of my portfolio. Does that make sense? Anyways, so you get your bids. I'm thinking pump chaser zone because this is a pump. We are in a pumpy season. Bitcoin dominance is breaking down. ETH BTC just broke out. It's going crazy. Just got another bullish close on Saturday night. Sunday night with a follow-up. Today we came down and retested that level, and we haven't broken through it. This looks very bullish. I think we're in a pumpy market. If you're not sure about that, just look at the Bitcoin chart. Does that look pumpy to you? It's fucking insane. So if altcoins are going to echo that as we go through that liquidity cycle we discussed, I think it is time for the pump chaser zone. And so that's what I did. And then it's like, the other thing I want to talk about today is paying yourself, taking profit, right? If you don't pay yourself, then you don't ever make money. And no one ever went broke paying themselves. But there is an equal amount of pain for holding a position too long and it goes back down and losing money potentially. Losing money straight out of the gates, it just doesn't bounce at all. Those are painful things. It's equally painful, sometimes arguably more painful, although less damaging, to sell, say, take profit here at $10.60, which is what I will be doing with part of my atom bag. And then later in the year, there's just these mega pumps and, like Google, and everyone announces that they love atom, and everyone's, and then it's like $100 coin. And I go back and I look and say, man, I sold so much of my position at $10 and I never got it back. That is also painful. And so if you try to avoid that, and your solution to that is just to not sell and wait for something like a 50x, 100x, then you're often going to end up on the other side of the spectrum, which is where it's like, you're having a great time. You're like, good thing I didn't sell. And it's like, oh, and then you're so depressed and you're back to your entry and you're just like, I just can't stand losing anymore, and you sell. So how to take profit? Well, no matter what, you got to have a plan before you're in the position, or shortly after if you don't have one already. And for me, I've become obsessed with Fibonacci extensions. So that's one of my other ones. I put it right here, extension levels. The 1618 is really the only one I use all the time. Okay. And I've set it up here. So as I come up and I draw my pump chaser zone, I can then also, using the magnet tool, come up and add this here. And I switch my template, fib extension, there it goes. And then I just do this nice cute line, and that's my first take profit. Because fail none, oftentimes price will come up in there and at least somebody like me is going to be taking profit. And I find I can usually get a bullish retest and get right back in. Or that's the top of the move, and I'm really glad I took profit. Or it just continues, but it's okay because I didn't sell the whole bloody position. Selling half sometimes, selling a quarter, selling 30%, whatever. And anytime I reach up to here, I then move my stop loss to wherever my entry was, saying basically, I am now guaranteed profit on a trade. And that is something that is enviable. You should always want to try to guarantee something in a place where it's all uncertainty. So when I get up into this area, I am selling some. I am moving my stop loss now to break even, sometimes even a couple pips above, because I know there's slippage and fees. I actually want it to be break even. And then that's it. And now I'm in this position of strength, which I always talk about, right? You're trading from strength, buying at the dip, selling at the first fib extension, moving profits, stop loss to break even. Now, whatever I do, I've made money, and it's just a matter of trying to squeeze out as much as I can from the position. Okay. The other thing I may do after that is when it gets to double. See here, I already have the alert, sold half on more than a double. In that case, a little more, I guess. Forget why I did that. I have to look it up. Okay. In this case, I set the alert for selling half on just over a double. And so again, if I have $1,000, I put it into here. Again, that would be based on percentages. So if I have $1,000 total, I'm not putting it into here. I'll put in like $50 or 100. But then you get up here and just say that's double. Well, I sell half my position. So I just got my $1,000 back. And I still have a $1,000 position now riding. That's the little old lady strategy. Again, shout out to TRI. Pretty simple. In fact, Brian, at CR Investor, you guys should check him out on Twitter. Wise. The charts he posts are incredibly advanced. So, be aware. But if you check the pinned tweet on his thing, I mean, he did it publicly. He turned $500 into $100,000 from 2015 to 2017, publicly trading it. And it was just as simple as positioning in these lows, selling half on a double, selling half on a double, selling half on a double, rinse, repeat on other lows over and over and over again for 3 years. $500, 100,000. And that's take home with a couple free positions still sitting around. So cannot say enough for this, but it's boring. You will miss a lot of big pumps. You might even 100x, but you sold half your position on the first 2x and then the other half at the 4 and the 8 and the 16 and the 32. So you miss most of that 100x. Yes, but it's a slow and steady, and by God, it wins the race. So that's my rant. I'm going to get back to the chat. So that's my thoughts on the setups. The other thing I wanted to talk about, probably a little more to unpack. I think we should get into the altcoins today. It's already 2:40 local time for me, but this is one. You can screen grab this. I'd be happy to walk through this in more detail on another stream. I don't want to get too talk heavy here. I'd like to get into some charts, get into the chats, talk a few requests with you guys, because I have a feeling that what you guys are going to be requesting today is going to be really good value for us to all unpack and do some charts together. But this is my main setup, right? Where I wait for volume to come in at the lows, then I wait for it to pull back. This was before I knew about the pump tissue zone, but I used the reload zone. Once it gets down here, if there's divergence and it looks like the momentum is shifted and it breaks out, oh, look at that, new volume breaking out, buy that dip, market structure, set my take profit to 4-1, and there's my trade. And actually, it's funny, as it turns out, RVN did come down here and just basically go to shit. I mean, look at that. It was 840 sats. I think right now it's 40 sats. So if I'm a hodler, I'm wrecked if I bought into this. But because I'm a trader, that setup paid me and I got the fuck out. I made my money. Probably had a little bit left at break even when it came down. So another point of why I like trading versus holding. And I guess that's the last thing I'll say here. Let's go look at KNC. I'm going to get out my altcoin chart. Close that. Here we go. So let's go look at KNC. I'll make a little point here. Really good point that I actually caught from another chat is that these markets will often take back. Oh, look, it's pumping. Nice. Okay, I got a position in KNC, full disclosure. Look, these things will often take back the entire fucking rally. It's insane, but it just happens all the time. Big pump, oh my God, all the way back. Big pump, oh my God, down to new lows. Big pump, oh my God, all the way back. So it really does kind of stick to that theory of like a lot of these coins are just liquidity cycle tools for people to accumulate more Bitcoin, right? Loading up, convince the public altcoins have value, get them all sucked in, distribute it back to them, take their Bitcoin, then get them to, we put a floor back in it and then we'll do it again. That's probably what a lot of these coins are used for. And you can tell the difference. I'll show you Link. Link actually has a use case. It's got some real demand. Apparently, because it doesn't take the whole bloody rally back. There is value underlying it. That's proof right here. It's on the chart. Markets don't lie. Another one that you could say the same thing about. Never took back the entire rally. That is BNB. Thing just keeps trending up. There is a reason to hold it. It gives you discounts. It gives you access. It gives you fees off. Other example, FTT. You guys can't tell. I think exchange tokens are one of the best. Like, look at this thing. Did it ever do one of those crazy bubble all the way up, all the way down? No. But there's a lot of these utility coins, these other shitters that do that. And so you got to know what you're buying, what you're investing in, understand underlying it. The exchange tokens that have good volume, an actual exchange that gets a ton of use, they actually have value. You need them to save money. It's as simple as that. And money is the bottom line for a trader, so they will use it. They will buy it. They will hold it. And so I think with a lot of these DeFi coins, I mean, look at Aave. Look at Aave. I mean, where's the better chart though? I want to see like where it was before Binance. Was it somewhere else? No. But I mean, Aave, again, not a bubble like the summer highs. Maybe not a good example. What's another summer DeFi project? Oh, I don't know. I mean, I know AirSwap. I think drawback. I'm not going to pick on them too much, but same kind of thing, right? Oh my God, I'm a big bull. Oh no, I'm not. It was just total air, right? There was no underlying bid that said we're going to prop this up. They will sell it all the way down to the lows. And guess who steps in there? Big, smart money, buying it back at the lows because they know they can get it up there again. Okay, let's get to the chat, guys. Sorry, I'm getting so rambly today. Here we go. Nice work. Okay. By the way, thanks on OMG. Got a good entry. Oh, appreciate that. Edge a ledge. Always happy to hear that somebody can use my analysis to help themselves in the market. OMG, yeah, really nice breakout last night. Kind of a roadblock today. A little bit of wiki down, but I'm not too worried about it. I mean, you get this nice downtrend, big consolidation right into the reload zone. Feel like it's corrected itself. Came right down and tagged this level here. Fully corrected this big crazy bubble. And for those of you who remember, this really all came from the Tether integration. They basically said Tether will be now run through OMG as well. And that's tons of volume. That's hype. So it just exploded back in August. So it's cleaned up the chart, right? Came all the way back down. Wyckoff check at this old high, whatever you want to call that. Not really a Wyckoff guy, but that's the word. And then we got up through this trend line. And just for the first time since breaking through that trend line, we've now put in sort of a bullish market structure at that close last night. Very, very tight. I think 3 Satoshis this candle closed above these highs. So to me, that was a confirmation. I was already long from just below it because I thought this is definitely going to confirm. And then I added after it did confirm. And, same thing we just talked about. I got my fib extension drawn from this low to this high. Whoops. Well, it's also drawn on the other one. Oops. Yeah, cool. There we go. Right. And then that should end up, gives me a nice target. And so that's my first take profit. And then I've got this chaos level from this right low to this high, a little more juicy. But interestingly, it lines up almost perfectly with the highs, like to within 3 cents. So I will definitely be closing the entire position up there because that's really good profit. And at that point, I think my risk reward is better off elsewhere. So OMG, glad you caught that. I think it's, personally, still think it's going to go. It just broke out, tapped and go. So I'm not rushing to finagle that one too much. Very confusing right now, having bought the lows versus BTC, and yet you have doubles in USD. Did you give up those lows versus BTC? Yeah, Picasso, that's a really good question. Asked a question basically saying, if the USD pair is like sky high, but the Bitcoin pair, which it is, by the way, on Atom, still fairly close to the lows. Well, not on the 4 hour, but if you zoom out, oh my God. Okay, it's kind of off the lows now. Nice. Yeah, so I get your question. I mean, Atom is in price discovery right now. Just going to let that sit there and hang in the air. Cosmos is in price discovery versus USD. It is gone. It's reaching for the stars. See if we can get a view of that. Versus USD, it's never traded higher than this. Nobody knows what it's worth now. There's no range. There's no old resistance. It's just breaking into price discovery. So I can't long something like that. I mean, I think that's, in some people's opinions, that's like the best place to long. They're like, what do you mean? Infinite upside potential. It's a bull market. And that's true. But everything I just talked about around getting good entries and finding places where I can risk to the lows, I can't do that up here. But I can find an entry here. We're at the lows, right? So to answer your question, Picasso, I think you need to establish ahead of time what your trading plan is. What are you, trying to accumulate? If you're trying to grow your USD account, then you want to buy USD pairs when they're at their lows, or when they're at like key level pullbacks, or a pump chaser zone, wherever that ends up being. You got to find your location, and then you trade that to the upside or the short side, whatever side you're trading. If your plan in this case is to accumulate Bitcoin, and I have some Bitcoin, then I want to buy this with Bitcoin, trade it at the lows. And so it's a bit of a cheat code, because yes, this is in price discovery, and no, my USD account can't take this on. It doesn't fit my plan. But before this breakout, actually this week, I saw this divergence forming. Tweeting it about, tweeting it out on the Hxro Labs Twitter, because we got bullish confirmations down here, and then at the same time we had this breakout right here. So I thought, holy shit, the USD pair out of this consolidation is just breaking out. Meanwhile, the BTC pair is just putting in bullish divergences. Each time price goes lower, the momentum actually goes higher. Look at this RSI. I mean, it was pretty much back from oversold as price was getting more and more oversold. That is internal strength, volume rising. I smell a breakout. So, in this case, it was like, yeah, cool. I can set some bids at these lows, see if they hit. And then obviously on Atom, it's like, okay, yeah, I can just trade whatever Bitcoin I want here. Pretty simple to risk against the lows. If you zoom in, this is actually a really bullish candle as well. Kind of like, oh, we're going down. Nope, all the way up, closed above. So I wouldn't call that like a key reversal candle or anything, but that's a bullish candle. And so risking to that low for me is safe. If I'm wrong, I'm out, and it'll be below here. But if I'm right, tons of upside. So I was parking some Bitcoin in here. So to your question, I guess, to circle back and get back to the point, you've got to just know ahead of time what pair you want to trade against. And in this case, they complemented each other. And I actually have some USDT and I had some Bitcoin, so I kind of traded both a little bit. And then, and then the question is, well, when do I pay myself? It's hard for me to say like, oh, this is a great place to get long, because we're just right up at this resistance, right? We're coming back up to these old lows here. So this is really not a place to rush in and be like, hey, man, this is, it's so bullish. It's going to do so well this year. I agree with those statements, but how well am I going to do if I rush in late? Because for this setup, that is late, and start buying here. On the whole, I'm probably going to end up with this kind of shit a lot of times. Retest, get shaken out, then blast through. And if it is going to break up, it's probably going to give me a retest and then go. So I can get in at this level. I just can't get in at this level from the underside. I have to wait for it to be support. And that's just a good rule. That's the kind of shit that helps me not lose my shirt year over year on any asset. Even though, like I said, dominance tanking, ETH BTC printing higher highs, right? There's so much bullishness in this market. It's so exciting. And, we've got Bitcoin just stuck in this range. And as long as that lasts, the BTC pairs should do well. And then like I showed here, I mean, if we get this kind of thing and we just consolidate like crazy, and then it's like breakout, fake out, nuke, and then let's go, like something like that. I kind of expect bullshit. So that'll be a tricky trade. But when this happens, whether it's up or down, when we break out of the zone, I'm leaning like 85% up for what it's worth. Doesn't mean it couldn't happen the other way. Like they say, the weatherman says 90% chance of rain. What he's really saying is there is a 10% chance of sunshine. So you never know. But when this breaks, altcoins will most likely versus Bitcoin take a shit, and that's okay. That's part of it, right? So you're coming up. Okay, we're doing our thing. Oh my God, it's alt season. Bitcoin breaks out. Pump chaser zone. Consolidate. Bitcoin consolidates. Whoa, right? alt seasons don't happen in one leg. You want to look up Elliott waves. The best basic thing I can describe is, the idea of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually, it's probably, and I don't know the exact measurements. So if you're an Elliott waves guy and you're like, this guy's a noob, just keep that in mind. But they take this general shape, right, where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and usually the 5 comes in. There's like lack of volume. It's on divergence, right? And then it's just A, B, C, and that's your cycle. You see it all over the place. Go look for them. You can find them. So I think we're going full cycle here. And so how to play that, the first leg, that one should be until Bitcoin breaks out of this consolidation, wherever that height ends up being. It's so hard to say. 2, Bitcoin breaks out, crushes alts for a little bit. Everyone cries and folds and sells, and then it's 3, 4, 5, right? So keep that in mind. That's what I'm thinking. I can't say not Nostradamus, but that's my thoughts on how these kinds of things will play out. And I hope that resonates with you guys. And I just have that very limited understanding of Elliott waves. I mean, you can see it here, kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Perfect example. So nice to see. And we could unpack why that is and how the psychology works. And it's like whatever. And then it's always that fifth one that's just the big FOMO. And it's usually the worst time to get in. But you see it all the time. Did we see it here? Did we see it there? I don't know. I think I'm lucky to have found one right here. I won't go looking for every single one, but it does happen quite a bit. Ooh, yeah, let's go see. Just because there's nothing better than a point well made. No. It was a BTC pair. Kind of got it here. They're always convoluted. That's why I don't really trade Elliott waves, but I like to see them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. So if you didn't know about that, now you can look for it. It's pretty crazy. So are we even close to anything remotely like a full cycle? Not even close. This is breakout stuff. And that's why I think it's important not to chase. That just broke out today. Well, maybe it goes up to here. Maybe there's a pump chaser zone, consolidates. Maybe if it's an RLZ. And then there's the bigger one, right? So really not chasing the initial breakouts. That's a great way to end up getting wrecked on the first pullback. Getting out of position on the first pullback just to miss like the big wave 3. All right, back to chat. Aeon, I actually bought some Aeon today. Could be good, could be bad. I don't know, but I'm happy to have some. FOMO responsibly. That's right. KNC breakout. Yeah, let's dig into that. How strong is this thing? Oh my God, look at the volume. Bing. That's what you want to see. I mean, we already had the volume on the daily, but now it's like we're pushing to highs. That's exciting. Double check something here. Yep, still got some KNC. All right, very cool. Yeah, so I think that's on my Twitter. I hope that is, because I looked at it and I talked to a few people about it. I mean, it just looked so bloody ripe. It always feels better when I can share in an idea. Like, look at this buy volume coming in. So during all this consolidation, it was like there was a secret hint there. And that was that there was big buys coming in, even though price hadn't moved yet. Volume precedes price. Great rule to understand. And if you just learned it today and you missed KNC, no big deal. It's going to have a big opportunity at some point. You just got to get in on those dips. Buy the dips, sell the rips. All right. Microcrab, woo, 3 hours in it, got messy mention. Aave was lend. Oh, sorry. Yeah, catching up on the chart, and you are very correct. Lend is now just gone. So that's why Aave's chart is poopy. Let's go check out Woo. Always interested in something. I gotta. Why this isn't loaded? Okay, perfect. So let's go check out Woo. Woo Trade. Is it Woo Trade? Woonkly? Guessing Woo Trade. And let's just get it on the daily. Ooh, look at that. So here's what I see. Yeah. Trending down. Yes. Okay. But we've got a low. It's trending down. That's not very sexy. Oh, look at that. A higher low. We put in a high. And now with this close yesterday, we have a higher high. So this trend has reversed on the daily. Do we have volume to confirm that? Or is it just hot air? Yep. You've got big buys coming in. The bulls have taken over on this coin for what it's worth. Sellers in control. Sellers in control. Sellers in control. Bears driving the bus. Now, trend reversal confirmed. Bulls back in the driver's seat. So tell me more about Woo. Edge allege. Appreciate those kinds of tips. And I tell you guys, man, the community here, us getting together on stream, Woo looks really strong. Okay, so how the fuck do we position ourselves for this? Again, sounding like I'm giving financial advice. Damn it. I'm not. How am I going to position myself for this? That's all I can focus on. This is not set up for the pump chaser zone. Let's just flip it real quick. No reverse and right side. Let's go. Oh, need some color. Oh, custom colors are not there today. Let's just go red and green. Okay. So yeah, this could keep going. It could go and go and go like an Energizer bunny, but wherever it tops out at, it gives me now a range where I can start to get interested. And that's exciting because this, if you're saying 3 Arrows is involved and Messi's mentioning it and some of the guys that really know what they're doing are suddenly excited about this thing, then I have to take it seriously. One of the things about trading is it's impossible to do it yourself. You've got to build a network. You've got to build a group or a series of people and not necessarily rush and just blindly buy every time they mention it, because human psychology is that, you will mention things more just after they've gone crazy. Not too many people are in a rush to talk about things that they just bought the dip on or bought like the lows on, because it's not sexy and you're not sure yet. But if it pumps 50% or 100%, you better believe you're about to tweet it out. And that's not any one person's issue. That's just what I noticed on social media in general. And it's even for myself. I'm like, I tweeted something out a couple weeks ago. I was like, and this tweet probably marks the local top. So careful, guys, because I was not compelled to tell you about it until it was like, holy shit, I got to talk about this. It's going great. So keep that in mind. But yeah, when certain people are involved in something and bullish on it, I take notice, because I build that network and who I follow around people who I care about, people whose opinion matters to me. They're doing research, they're finding alpha, they're sharing it. I want to hear about it. And then I just apply my own entry to it. And sometimes I miss. If this goes like this, I will not be in it. But if this goes like this, and then I do that, oh, wow. And then I do that. And then it goes like this, I will be involved. And if it goes like this, I will be out. So that's my thoughts on Woo. John, producer, please write down Woo on our list of things to actually go take a look at after the stream. John's great like that. We've stopped forgetting about great ideas that come up after the stream and actually started trading some of them. So let's put that on our short list, buddy. Now, what else we got? Neo. Heard about Neo in quite a while. Oh my God, price discovery is so exciting. You just never know where it's going to go. Let's go look at Neo. I'm assuming BTC, but I always start in Tether because I want to know where it is in the world. My God. My best and most disappointing trade of the year was shorting Neo right at this fucking high. Like, it was absurd. It was like 0.25% from the high. It was like a 5-minute wedge and there was all these things. And then I closed it here. And then for 2 months, I watched it turn into the trade of the year. So that's the last thing I remember about Neo. Tell my Twitter if you don't believe me. I think I actually tweeted that one ahead of time. Oh, the things we would do if we could do it again. Now, look, Neo is at a very interesting level. Yeah. I mean, it's coming up into a huge level. I mean, look at this, though. My God. Oh, so much of this in the market looks so sexy. I mean, look at this. This is like, oh, look at me. I'm a bubble. Just showed up. And now it's like, I've had this big, sexy, long accumulation range. Volume is starting to rise, and it just broke out. And I'm still below this key level. if this thing goes above here and we can find some kind of way to get long on that retest, my God, there is so much upside and shit like this. Because one of the rules you got to understand about these things is the longer the bottom, the longer the accumulation range, the more explosive the resulting move. Last I checked, Neo had a treasury of like hundreds of millions of dollars. They're not like, oh, we're going out of business. Maybe we won't make it. They will be around. They're building. Say what you will about their blockchain. Say what you will about the politics, whatever opinions you have, put them away because we're here to make money. And I think this one, on the whole, is just going to be in the conversation for quite a while. I mean, they're getting grants and crazy things from the Chinese government. I mean, yeah, Neo used to be like $240, 200. No, just 200. It's weird. Could have sworn it was over 200 at one point. But yeah. And then you got to think, okay, well, if it was 200 before, and this next bubble is presumably bigger into the multi-trillion dollar total market cap, is 200 just a peanut? Oof. Yeah, 8 mil market cap on Woo. I agree. Edge. It looks really sexy. I'm going to have to look for that dip. Probably use a 1-inch bid. I actually haven't ever used a limit order on 1-inch yet, but I'm like trying now. I'm working on them because it is hard to keep up with Uniswap coins. The way that I trade is mostly Binance for now. Uniswap, I just like to like ape into something and then like just sit on it for a while. Wait till somebody starts shilling it to me and then I sell it. Because usually the shillers come out when it's already up a lot. Maybe not enough price history. Look at Neo. Yeah, like to see Neo too. Okay, good. Neo 3.0. I would love to know some dates. Because if we're going to rally into a Neo 3.0 rally, event, God, almost wish I had some Neo already, naturally. Because this is going to be tough. I mean, we're coming into this big resistance. So the nice thing about this is like it's such an easy pass for me right now. I don't care what's coming up for Neo. I just will never buy this huge like high time frame fucking SR level. So that makes it stress free. It's not like can I get a pump chaser zone if it gets rejected from that level on the first try, which it might? Let's see. It seems reasonable. That would be a retest here. That would be a retest of that. Like again, and the day this does come, like if it did just say like tomorrow, right? I think we're on a long weekend, right? I don't know if it was a long weekend in the States on the Friday or the Monday. I don't even know. But if it's the Monday, then you can expect the Monday potential kind of market open dump shit that we've been getting for a while. You could probably expect that to show its face tomorrow. And then maybe we just get like a big, big stupid, and then it's just like off to the races, right? But if you're not ready for that, you're going to spend all day tomorrow thinking about what you should have sold yesterday instead of actually just filling up your bids. Yeah, I agree. Edge. I won't repeat what you said, but I agree with it fully. Share USDX. We will be talking more about that. I think next week, actually, we're going to have a guest on. I mean, I can talk about it now, but I think we're going to have a guest on next week that haven't confirmed his slot yet, but he's been right there in the center of it with me and the team and working on things. And hopefully we'll get him on and share what the latest is. There's literally like 150 messages in the strategy chat every time I wake up. And it's a hard thing to keep up. There's a lot of really smart people on the back end of Share putting together proposals and thinking out the metrics and trying to get it right. So stay tuned for that. Once I finally catch up on that chat and we get some final proposals, I will present them here and we can talk about them. Cake. Keep hearing about Cake. I don't know if it's the coin or somebody just keeps saying Cake to me, but what the hell? Hopefully, maybe it's, you know what? It's actually on Binance. I seen it. But it's only versus ETH, I think, and BS. Yeah, so it's one of oh man, you can trade it versus Binance Coin, or more likely, trade it versus BUSD, Binance USD. Oh man, yeah, that does look good. Can't say no to a little uptrend with decent buy volume. So, before I just say it's in the reverse pump chaser zone. Yeah, I mean, looking good. Looking good. It's trending up, period. So, in an uptrend, where do I want to be a buyer? Always on the higher lows, not the higher highs. So in this case, draw it up. There was my higher low. In this case, go from that low up here. Well, there's a pump chaser zone came in, like finding these little retracement levels on the way up. Well, look at that breakout reload zone. Always just doing that. And if you I do that all the time. I mean, yes, I just FOMO into things once in a while. Certain situations like big news just dropped and it started to break out and I just know it's bigger. But for the most part, I'd say 90% of my trades are somewhere in a fib that I have bid set and the price comes to me. And I get, I miss a lot, but when they hit, and if they hit consistently, nobody ever lost money missing a trade. Controversial statement. People say, yeah, I lost the opportunity. It's like, well, your balance is the same. So for now, that's what I can do. Might get a little dip here. Should I show you guys? Okay. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Let's go over here to Waves. Waves is the one I actually have live bids on. I don't think I'm going to hit them, but then again, I never do. They always seem like they just won't come back. But I've learned not to FOMO and to just hope they do. And if they do, it's such a sweet entry. But I am bidding the shit out of this level here. Don't front run me, bro. Because look at Waves. It's making waves. Really nice rally. This is the futures. I should probably just go to the actual Waves. Let's go to the bigger chart. Get a little more history. I mean, look at this thing. No, can I buy like up at the highs? I mean, is this arguably like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C? Like I saw that. I was like, okay, am I actually just buying the exact high here? Maybe, but here's how I'm charting it. New base put in here, so I can use that pivot low. Getting up here, I've got myself a potential pump chaser zone. This is, like I said, why I don't risk necessarily to that. I would try to use a pivot low, but I didn't trade this. Actually, somebody mentioned it on Twitter the other day when it was here, and I was like, ooh, and it's in the pump chaser zone too. And then I didn't follow up right away, so I was a little bit like, oh shit. But look at this. Dying volume through consolidation, that's to be expected. Now at these lows, the volume buyers are stepping back in, get up to this key level, what we talked about, right? Where those highs are coming in. And then breakout and some volume to stamp it. So I think this is poised for continuation. That is the trade idea for me. It's like, yeah, obviously that's what I would do. 750 million. So can it get like a quadruple in a week? Probably not. It's not going to move that fast. But, and there was like no follow through on this little push up to highs. So I actually do think it needs to come back and down and check me out. And in that case, that's the bigger pump chaser fib. So now from this low to this high, I'm actually hunting up in this range. So obviously for that to work out for me, I don't want it to go below this level. So that's one trade I'm actually waiting on as far as being patient goes. How come you're not using log for Neo 3-day? Yeah, you know what? That's a good question. I'm not a big log guy. Not like I don't agree with it. I just tend to not use it. And I don't have a good reason. So shoot the messenger. Let's check out the log. Well, let's see how it changes. Oh God. Okay. So I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean I just live on these charts. Like I don't really do log. I check in on it once in a while. It's really good for trend lines, I find. But in this case, yeah. Okay. Yeah. No good answer, just that I don't. But you could chart this on log. I don't know. I haven't had a compelling reason why it's better or worse. I think that's just really like whatever works for you. Non-log works for me, and then I check log once in a while. So let's see. TRB. God, there's so many good coins. Let's go looking, guys. Try to speed up the time I spend on each one because then we can get to more. More is better sometimes. Quantity over quality. Yep. Oh my God. I mean, like, again, look at this chart. If this was inverted, how do you do the inverted thing? Is it like divided by 1 or something? I don't know. Dang it. I don't know how to do the inversion. Oh, maybe this? Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, would you short that? Looks like shit. Looks terrible. I mean, I might not short here, but I'd be shorting. I'd be shorting. I'd be shorting the bounce. Oh my God. I mean, I don't think we'll get there, but never do, right? But it's like, ooh. Yeah. So there you go. Invert some of these if you're stuck in the bear influenza for the last 2 years and suddenly they just look so bearish. Short them. TRB is an Oracle, if I'm correct. Teller. I was actually looking at it last night, trying to think, how can I buy this? So, based on today's theme, let's take a look. How can I? Boop, beep, boop, bing. There we go. Why not? Why not? Do I have a level in there? Kind of. I can make one. Lots of resistances is along here. Oh, and a support. Resistance, resistance, resistance. So yeah, it should get a support tag here. And I can make it green because green is support. And it's right in the pump chaser zone. So yes. John, add it to our list. Let's take a look at this one. The nice thing about this is like it'll come or it won't. These bids will fill or they won't. I don't know what teller is. Like I don't have any attachment to it, but if I get filled in this zone, I'm set up for success. Doesn't mean it will succeed, but I am set up for it. And then, depending on where it fills and how the reaction goes, I can then go look, maybe set my stop loss below the PRZ or the POC here. Maybe pick a pivot. That's a huge drop, so I'll have to find something on the lower time frames. There's more nitty gritties, or I could just park a smaller size and not set a stop loss at all. Fuck it. Put in a few $100, whatever my percentage is that's small. Could use this pivot low, could use this pivot low, or again, just, I'm more in a mood right now to just take some nibbles. Small position that could just get totally wrecked and it wouldn't really be that big a deal, and then hold it and just sell half on a double. So it's like $25. Sell half my position here if it gets there, and then I've got a free position of teller for the rest of the cycle. Zero risk. Go from 100% risk to zero. Need to get on 1 inch. Yeah, Paul Young, I would recommend checking it out. It's interesting for sure. Neo, EOS, Tron, Tezos, all hot trash. Would not want to be left holding them when the music stops. Okay, Jamie 1700 passing on all of those. Good to know. Yeah, no, I wouldn't ever want to get stopped or left holding any bag. But then again, it's date it, not Marriott, right? So do I think that with their treasury and their Chinese government endorsements and all their excitement over in China that they can catch a narrative this year? Oh, hell yeah. Do I want to catch a dip so I can ride that narrative and make money? Oh, hell yeah. But you're right. Don't get caught holding anything. Don't get caught, period. Manage risk. Been using 1 inch matcha bots front run. Need a big dig deeper than an ask. Okay, not sure which is better. Pay higher price. Yeah, okay, guys, I'm behind on the chat. Catching up here. BSC AMM. The band ain't bad either. Oh my God. I know these Oracle coins. I'll tell you one Oracle coin I am long on. That is DIA. Smacked into this resistance on the weekend. So, as a trader, I got to sit there and be like, why didn't I have like a little sell order set there? Could have been a nice trade. It was such an obvious place for price to initially pull back. Well, I'll tell you why. You can see it on the chart. I mean, I'm not calling tops on this thing there, right? Consolidation range, breakout. I mean, this was the breakout I was playing. So, this breakout, come up by the dip. I'm long from this reload zone. Like, I don't have to worry too much if this wants to range here. I mean, it would suck giving back potential gains that I had. And then, but I'm ultimately looking like upwards on this thing. I mean, look at that. I don't want to be calling tops anywhere in here. or just accumulating a position and being patient and not staring at the P&L or whatever. That's not a futures thing, but you know what I mean. I don't want to call tops up here. Look at the buy volume. Somebody is accumulating a position. Many people probably. And when the cat's out of this bag, she gonna run. Oh, okay. Can't have just one. You need the whole stack. So as far as like this little setup goes, my first take profit will be up here. That's actually almost a double. My double's right here. So, once it's up into this range, I basically have a free position. And again, based on what we were just looking at, having like the way we see these cycles go, having a free position at this part, like holy shit, right? Zero risk at that point. I can hold it indefinitely and not lose sleep. I could delete it from my portfolio for a year, just pretend it lost everything, then come back when everything's just going absolute bananas and start going into all my free positions and just offloading them into the market. So many options playing from strength like that. So that's what I'll be doing with DIA, another Oracle. Sorry, rambling there. Let's go check out Band. Yeah, this one got away from me. I was a little sad. I was looking at it in this reload zone. Go figure. Down in here, I was like, man, Band is going to run someday. I should just load up. It was actually an RLZ within an RLZ a couple weeks ago. Right into here. I was like, oof. And then I slept on it and it took off. And then I slept on the, oh, look at this retest. I didn't even notice that. So even though I missed my initial what I wanted, had I not just been like, meh, moved on, I had a perfect opportunity to follow my own trade plan. And I missed it. That's the way she goes. I mean, that's your pump chaser right there. So gorgeous. So sweet. Not going to lose sleep over this one though. I don't really care, but the higher volume on this is helpful, because when you look at this, you just think, oh, is it a double top? I don't know. Could be. Someone's trying to think it is, but the higher volume on those highs there, that's really promising. So wouldn't call tops on this one either, but it's at a key level. TA doesn't work, except for that it does, right? There are people selling at this level just because this is where people were buying before. If it breaks through here, expect price discovery. Just expect it. Can't guarantee it, but it's what you should assume will happen. Price discovery above 17 bucks. Looks like it's coming. But for now, I can't long here. Does look really good though. And then, can I assume that I'll get this retest again? I mean, if it's really bullish, I probably shouldn't. You know what they say, if you get a bunch of chances of getting in at the entry, that, it's probably not the best entry. But let's go even further, guys. Phil 26, CRV. Oh, heard that thing's been pumping. Let's go take a look. Yup. And nice volume too. I mean, you could see the writing on the wall with this volume back here in November. And I did, I didn't long it, but I did notice. I was like, holy shit, Curve's actually putting a base in. But now we've got the breakout. And how many charts did we just look at that look just like this, right? Pre-breakout. So if you want to know what some of these bottom consolidations end up looking like once they break out and the volume comes in, like, just look at Curve. And it doesn't mean you've missed the whole bloody trade. I mean, again, what is this? God, I think that was an old alert. I'll delete that. I mean, again, this is not what tops look like. This is what bottoms look like. I find it really, really hard and really confusing. I look at Bitcoin obviously on the weekly. You're like, okay, of course that looks friggin' ridiculous. Of course that could be a top. I mean, just by virtue of like, whoa. I mean that, yeah, yes. And I'm paying myself. Guys, I should point out too that I've been paying myself. I've been taking some money out of the market. Full disclosure. I probably took about 20-25% of my portfolio out of the market completely through this. And not because of this dump last Monday, like just purely because it's like, okay, 2020 was a good year. I've been through the 2017, 2018 bubble. I've been through the 2019 echo bubble. I almost built half my portfolio back that year and then lost it again in port value. Not like in losing trades as much as just holding shitty things. Yeah, I've been through that twice. And through each of those depressing dips, I learned one very valuable lesson. That is, once you have some money that you think is significant, you need to secure it. put it in the bank, pay the tax on it, do whatever. That's not financial advice going to you. That's what I've learned. And I tell myself that every day. Pay my goddamn self. If I'm losing sleep, if I'm feeling uncomfortable, I just keep pulling it out until I'm chill and I'm getting closer. So there's my rant. But yeah, I mean, and then the bonus of that, aside from having, some money on actual paper, so I don't just look like this guy who's self-employed with $12 to his name. Meanwhile, I've got my entire net worth sitting in crypto. I wanted to make some of it real, but mostly my point is now I can play from strength, right? I don't lose sleep at night. I can add a little more risk. I can take, a hit on a margin account for a little bit. Like, I'm secure. I have not reached my goals. I am still hungry. I am not rich, but I am secure, right? Got a little nest egg, a little something on the side. And so, yeah, this does not look like a top to me. I don't know how that tied into that point, but I did rant into that direction from this chart. But, so, oh, yeah, point is like, yeah, I'm already taking some shit out of the market, but that doesn't mean I'm calling tops on it. It's more about a psychology thing. Hxro, we're going to get into Hxro. So CRV looks great. Again, can I buy it here? Hell no. Do I think it's the top? Hell no. But I hope you guys understand why those two facts can remain. So you think it could go higher, but you won't buy it here? Yes. We've got a consolidation level right here in the pump chaser zone. This is, probably going to get a test. Let's be real. Probably going to be able to get 123. And once I do, then we'll see. I don't think I'll buy this one. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I might want to look into it because that is huge volume coming out of a bottom consolidation. So the initial pullback is probably setting up a generational long opportunity. So I take it back. John, add it to our list. CRV. Post-stream analysis for actual trading. I'm going to take a look at CRV because that, when you see that kind of bottom formation and then you see that kind of breakout and that kind of volume, I have to get in on those dips. I have to at least be hunting them. Or what the hell am I doing in this market? Such an exciting time, guys. Like for all the months and years, I mean, coming up on 4 years now for myself. And how many times you're just in the market and it's just bleeding or sideways or shitty or boring, low volume, consolidation-y, liquidity, trash. And then you get to this where you're just like, oh, www.pump.com. So sexy. So all the more important to like take the time to learn this shit properly so that instead of selling and chickening out at this retest here in this pump chaser zone, I'm actually getting long like here. It doesn't look too sexy because these are all just wicks, but that is resistance. So it stands to reason. I would personally like to use the candle body highs, but for what it's worth, that's not where the pump chaser zone is. There's a candle body high. Cool. Fit my thesis. Fit my bias, you jerk. Where's my brush? Yeah. So, does it have to come back here? Nope. But if it does, guess who's got those bids working? Hope it does. I like Hxro. Partnered with YFI. Probably going to do great. SXP. Oh my God. Let's go see this old dust bucket. Swipe card. Yep. Coming up off the lows. And this is what you want to do too, right? I mean, this is a great idea. You should probably look at the Qcoin. I always thought it was weird when people call it Qcoin. Isn't it Qcoin? I don't know. Potato, tomato. Let's go look here. Are we even in that reload zone? Whoa, we're not in that. Yeah, 88.6. I mean, God, shit is clockwork, right? I mean, for all the pumps and all the craziness, and even me trying to long it here and trying to long it here, I got washed twice on an SXP long this year. Ouch. I am down a couple thousand on SXP as a trader, but is it time to is it in a location where I can start thinking, yep, is the volume starting to come back in? Yep, buyers are putting a bottom in this thing, so pay attention. Don't use the lesson of the last 3 months to guide you through the next 3. They're not the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results. You've got to be able to spot the signs, and this one is clear as day. No interest. Price going down. Whoa, hello. Somebody's interested. And we might be waking up a little bit here today. So how am I going to trade it? Again, like I envy the people that are just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to like ape in for $50. Like, whatever. They just buy things. At this point of the market, I envy them because it's like I get stuck in analysis paralysis, right? And I end up with all this shit and I love it. It's fine. But sometimes I just envy somebody who's like, oh yeah, it looks good. I'll check it in 2 years. Punt 1% of their portfolio into it, just not look. I can't do that, but Godspeed to those who can, and then just good luck taking profit. You got to find a way to do it. DCA out of the market, hit your goal and just exit fully. Wait for big, tall, crazy extension levels to come in. Who knows? You got to have your strategy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. It hasn't quite broken out yet. I think here's like, clear resistance, obviously. So that's an interesting level I might be messing with. Something like that. Of course, if that happens, I will draw this up wherever it peaks and I can try to get in there. My guess is that SR level will align with this pump chaser. It just seems to work like that a lot. In which case, this rally is probably going to do something crazy. FOMO everybody in, spend a few days shaking them all back out. Then we get filled. I get filled. And then whatever happens after that, who knows? The squiggly never lies. Wow, DJ2000 hit me up with the real name. Didn't you know it's RT? It's okay. It's not a big secret. Just looks weird. It's like my mom calls me that. Banned BTC only just starting. Yeah, okay. That's the thing too, guys. You got to remind me. Sorry, I'm not checking the chat every second, but I should be because you guys are why I'm here. But banned, yeah. Know your pair, right? Which one are you trading? DJ2000. Yeah, I would think so. It's really hard to define alt season. I tend to agree with Scott Melker, who tweeted out today that the whole notion of alt season is just useless and, if anything, harmful and distracting, because it just pulls you away from your setups. And then you're like, oh, is alt season over? And by the time that it is officially declared over by everyone, it's like here. Even though, according to technical analysis, Nick and I this summer were able to spot exits here and final exits there. By the time the narrative of alt season dies down, it's usually quite late. And by the same token, by the time the narrative of alt season has arrived, it's often quite late as well. I would argue that the writing is on the wall for an extended alt season rally through the entire year, with, of course, all kinds of roller coaster take backsies along the way. That's why I trade. That's why I take profit at my 618s. That's why I sell halves on doubles, because when those big roller coaster swings come into the market, I can reload in the, you guessed it, reload zone. Farming money. Lots of room to run if it breaks out. What are we looking at? SXP. Yeah. Okay. Guessing Moon over Minsk just caught that SXP analysis. Nice W coming in on Keep. Ooh, yes. Good call. I want to take a look at Keep. Dude, we're going overtime. Hope you're okay with this, producer man. Ring me in the ear if you got to go, because I can wrap it up. We're good. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, Keep looks really good, guys. I don't know anything about it, so keep that in mind. I think the market cap, I was looking it up last night. Somebody mentioned it elsewhere, and I was like, damn. Keep 153, so it's probably like 100 million. Yeah, so about 95 million. I mean, look at this, right? Big downtrend, no interest. Oh, rising volume, starting of a hint. Bears still in control, red outweighing the green, blah, blah, blah. But now the bulls have made a clear statement. We are interested in this at this level. And I don't know if we get an RLZ here. Wow, that's really weird and gross. I feel so naked without all my colors. Yeah, so there we go. Okay, yeah, reload zone. We just broke out. Fuck, great timing. Who was that? Who mentioned Keep? This is literally like an alert you want to have on your computer. For the busy ape, you will want, some people may be inclined to just do something crazy right now. I wouldn't, but I'll tell you, I am basically in buy every dip mode for a little bit till I have my desired position on this thing. Cause look at your upside. And yeah, sick. Great call. Shout out to Cole Beasley. Thank you for bringing Keep to our radar today. Cause this thing just looks good. I mean, God, you wait September, you asked me, I'd say it looks like shit. October looks like shit. November looks like shit. December, patience, young one. Now it's like volume, breakout, go. Just as I was ranting on about 5 minutes ago, don't you just love this part of the market cycle? It's the most exciting part, and it's the most important part to pay attention to, because positioning myself now well across assets that will have an edge versus perhaps just the run-of-the-mill randos, oh my God. Think about how much that may pay off as we go. Speaking of paying off, holy shit. Yop. This is one that I was fortunate enough to be involved with from the very early stages back in October. Just launched 5-cent pre-sale, seed sale, and public sale. So they did a very fair style launch. Unfortunately, some bots fucked it up on the first day. I mean, unfortunately for anyone who tried to beat them to the punch. I think it was 6 different bots had buys in on the first block. So as the contract was published, the same block, massive buys came in, and then like the next block they sold. That is not something the team was involved with, obviously, or can control, but it is what it is. But look at this thing. It's running. What is that now? 5 cents to 83? That's like how many X? I don't know. 16X. Not bad. Not bad at all for a yield optimization protocol. And it's like whatever, day 5. So we'll see. Just happened to notice that on my little watch list here. Let's see what else is moving today. Shares catching a bit. Ooh, live on the air for the share. My bags. I do have some share. It is in the reload zone off of this consolidation. And then we really want to know what USD is doing, because USD was trading below peg for a while, which is unusual. It's trading at 88 cents. So it's still below peg. So in that case, I'm actually very encouraged to see share kind of catching bids here, even as it's in negative rebase. It's a really strong underlying kind of signal. Not going to ignore that. ZCN, seeing some Twitter noise about this one. Looks pretty decent, making new highs. And UFT just had another big release of tokens. They're doing quarterly releases. That was ahead of the quarterly release. And then since then, it's just been, yeah. But for anyone who's watching, you all already know where it is. It's in the reload zone. So if I was bullish on this through here, which I was, I need to be more bullish on it here, not suddenly less bullish just because it's down. Train yourself to get bullish at the right times. I'm bullish on an asset. Well, I'm even more bullish on it when it's in a zone for me. UFT looks dope. Unilend Finance, I think they're going to do well. I have a bag. Full disclosure. Power Trade. Holy shit. Power Trade broke out with some volume today too. You may remember this chart from episodes such as Random Task 555 on Twitter. Got long through this reload zone and just been kind of sitting around bored. My Delta app was pulling the wrong price feed, so it was really annoying. It was showing as like a 50% loss. I just had to try and ignore that noise, and it's breaking out. It's looking good. This is an options trading application for cell phones. Like a mobile app. Cell phones. So it sounded so old. I'm old. Polls making new highs. No big deal. A lot of people liking the PokerStarter Launchpad and to participate and get lotto tickets to each sale, which are all coming out at multiple X's. So why not? You have to hold, I think, 3,000 of these. That is going to start pricing people out pretty soon. It's already up to like whatever that is, $4,500. So, but yeah, volume rising, breaking out. I mean, God, this market right now, so sexy. I did something that I don't usually do. On the weekend, I picked up some Rook, even at these highs. I did. As you guys know on my Twitter, I was looking at it at 74 did park some in there, but I wanted more. And so I broke one of my rules, which I'm not too worried about. It was a small position. So I didn't really break a rule. I just sized down. But I'm actually bidding like the mid twos. If I can get a fill of the mid twos, oh, best believe position's going to grow. Rook, just, I don't know. The shill got to me. I see it, what is it now? It's definitely up there in market cap. I think it's getting up there to the 100 mil. Yeah, I just crossed 100. So, keep that in mind. It was like sub 10 when we all started talking about it back here. But yeah, I'm going to get some rook. Basically at the 382. Oh, actually below that. So maybe the 0.5, whatever it is. Anyways, yeah, rook. Let's take a look. What else do you guys have? Oh yeah, Aeon. I picked up some Aeon. Oh, I better check the chart first to be like it's on a pump. Be like, yeah, I bought the top. But no, I did pick up some Aeon through this consolidation because why not? Been talking about it forever. If there was ever a time to be excited about something, it's usually on a big www.breakout.com. Hasn't broken out yet. So I'm front running it, which is fine for me because Aeon's an old favorite of mine and I just have a fanboy mentality with it. Careful with this one, guys, because it is not exactly fitting my plan other than that I was at their launch event, met the CEO, was a bag holder, community, all that fun stuff. And I figured, damn it, if I didn't pick some up during all of this bottomingness and I just held like my old bag, what a loser. I gotta average down, 3 years later at least once. So I did. Because this is like what I'm talking about. Like if I'm gonna have a free position from fucking like whatever it was, April 18th. Yeah, this was Aeon X. What was it? 43,000 sats. I still remember the day. Aeon X, really exciting, launching the mainnet. Sell the news. Oh my God. So how do I not average down once? Buy 10 times the size of my bag for 1/100th the price. I mean, I have to do it. So I did it. And yeah, fuck it. This is an area where I think I can find some value. Call me crazy. Love me some Aeon. I gotta look into moves more. I keep hearing all these crazy things like moves and Uber and Lyft, and I'd love to know just how much legitimacy they have. CFI. Oh God, yeah. How did I skip CFI? It's been going crazy. Another one, another great pre-sale here. 50 cents, I believe it was, pre-sale. Never really went even close to that. It was like 4x plus from the whole way out. And you guys know, reload zone. Reload zone, sweet spot tap, so sweet. And basically testing price discovery now. If it breaks through, I mean, it got rejected initially. That makes sense. I heard from a little birdie that there was some exciting things coming up, and I can't speak to how exciting, and I'm not trying to shill hype it, but that's just the truth. I don't know. He just said, we're having a talk with the team. So bullish on what I heard. I will say that only. I don't really have a clue what the context is of that, but all I know is I have a good friend who's not selling his pre-sale bag yet, which is that's something. It's 10x, not selling any. He knows more than I do, so I'm just following his lead. I will just say that. Swap. Oh, Swap. What did Swap announce? Something about a Polkadot integration. So epic. Oh. Well, if it's at 73 cents, that's actually great news. Because I had bids at 68 the first time I ever tried to use 1-inch. I chickened out and canceled them before they filled. And then I heard about the Polkadot thing. And then I was like, damn it, I'm an idiot. If it's actually at 73, that's sort of pleasing for me because I would like to have some. John, add swap to our list. So many on the list today. God, it is the season. I need some swap in my life. I had a big old pre-sale bag. Very fortunate to be involved in that one in July last year, June, whatever it was. But when I see this, I get out. So I am out. Not back in yet. Sad face, because this would have been like the easiest get back in alert ever. And that goes to like, ooh, there's a lot of noise in the market. 88.6s for the win. Like, oh my God. Any of this, obviously, any of this reload zone at some point is going to look pretty good, I think. But there's a lot of noise in the market, and it's not like, ooh, I missed this and I was sitting still. I mean, I was doing something else, probably finding some decent return somewhere else. But then you come back to these and you're like, oh, really? I missed the boat on that. So I don't think I did. I see a level here. We had Jeff on last week and it was up here, and I said, love you, but I can't buy that dollar. Not like he was saying I should, but I was like, damn it, you got me so bullish, I want to buy. And I remember, guys, I don't know if you were here for that stream. I basically said, well, I can't buy that, but I can buy this. And I'd like to say I did, but like I said, I canceled that bid. So I'm going to go and look at that after stream. A couple cents difference, I don't mind. I think they just announced something to do with Polkadot, where they're going to be, interoperable, which is obviously huge. And, I'll let you guys go watch that episode. It was from last Monday before last, the first Monday of the year. We had Jeff Kardikis on, the CEO of Swap, or founder of Swap, and watch that episode if you're interested in this one. He did drop a lot of interesting info. Nord did get some hype as like the pre-sale kind of thing. I don't know what the pre-sale price was not involved in this one. But if it wakes up, I did pick up a little bit through this, just for the record. ETHverse doing some cool shit with GTA, but for now, token market is just finding a bottom. It will need some time, it looks like. Launched in the bubble, came out. We're going to find out what people really think it's worth right now. And it looks to me like it's pretty much found a bottom, but we'll see. If that breaks, we'll have to go to price discovery, to the bad side. No, polls just gives you a 10% discount on the token price. Oh, okay. I thought you had to hold polls. Okay, and then our producer clarified. Good. Yeah, we did both. We had the polls. We had a whitelist through them. Yeah. Okay, good. Producers hitting you up in the chat. Great. Haka looks like it's putting in a big W. Okay, guys, we are getting close to the end of the show. There's so much to look at, guys. There's just so much. But I need to actually stretch my legs for 2 minutes and then actually go back and start looking into some of these. So follow me on Twitter at randomtask555, at Hxro Labs, at Real Hxro Labs, which, for what it's worth, most of the tweeting on that site or on that account is myself. So I tweet intermittently between those two, depending on the nature of the content. So if you follow both of those, as much as I can, when these ideas come in, I will share them. I got to say, though, guys, you have crushed it today with the requests. It's no more like, and it's okay to request something that's like up here and you're like, can you take a look at that? Like, do you have a bag? And then you want to know, what do I think? Is it topped? Whatever. Like, that's fair. But I love when we get in with these kinds of ideas. And that, to me, is evidence that we're making a ton of progress just as a community, right? Because in the summer, it was just like, hey, check out my bag. It's going to go to the moon. And I was like, dude, it is fucking sitting on the moon. It's sitting on the moon on bearish divergence. But the last few weeks, every stream, it's like just great ideas coming out from everybody. I bring as many as I can as well, and then we just get our heads together and see what we find that's the best. Damn. Yeah. Gotta say it again, guys. I love this season. You call it alt season, call it whatever you want. But this stuff, volume, waking up. I love, the other thing that's nice about today's stream is like we got a lot of concepts that we got repeated examples of. So you just start to recognize this shit, right? Boring, 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 boring. Bingo. Volume. Price, when it moves like this, doesn't always have volume behind it. Obviously today it looks like, of course it does. They all do. A lot of times it does not. And so, no, but today they do. So that's a bigger signal. That to me is like, okay, breakout, reload zone, breakout, continuation. The last thing I'll do with this is say, well, what's next? I would be willing to bet that we will see, if we get continuation through the highs, we should see fib extension. which is a pretty decent target, like 20 cents. Is there a double in there? Can I have a free position for the rest of my life? If I was to find a safe entry down here and then sell half of it somewhere before here, yep. And then again, so zooming out, is this the top of a bull market? No. Short answer, no. Long answer, probably not. Doge bull flag on the monthly. Oh my God. What? Let's go check the Doge. USD? Maybe. Or are you talking about it is? Yeah. I mean, it's flagging no matter how you cut it. I don't really care for Doge. I know that it's a fun meme coin and you can definitely make killer money off it. I mean, look at this. But I don't know what to do with it. Like, what? I don't know. I never did wrap my head around, like, of all the things. It's like, well, Doge always pumps. It's like, cool. Until it doesn't. And then the second it's not pumping, I forget why the hell I had it and I sell it. So I'm more likely to just mismanage any trade I have with a coin that I don't believe in. I do believe in the meme, and I swear I'm fun at parties, but yeah, don't fuck with Doge. In fact, I think I traded it once and I did exactly that. Held. Oh, it's gonna moon. Oh wait, no, it's not. Sell at a loss. So, but it's in the pump chaser zone of sorts. That's cool. And if we just get saturated with money and new participants, you better believe Doge will have its day in the sun. I probably just won't be there for the burn. Sunburn joke. Okay. We're getting late in the day here, guys. All right, let's flip back. Okay, we've come so far down the rabbit hole. I think we should just check in on some big players. ETH BTC just confirmed this bullish breakout. Retested that level. Very bullish on this in the short term, midterm, and long term. On that note, pump chaser zone, got the fills, got the tags. Now we're consolidating, which is much easier to see on this chart. Will I get filled on waves? Well, you'll find out on Wednesday. I hope I do. This is what we're looking at on Bitcoin. And so far, the squiggly is playing out to some degree. Kind of just this whole shit, right? Fib pong. Not trying to trade this. This is tricky trading. If we get to an extreme of it, I may trade long. If we get to an extreme of it, I may try to short. But in this, it's just asking for trouble when we've just looked at like 100 charts that look so juicy. Like, why trade this? The fun trades for Bitcoin were when it was going in a clear direction. And we talk about this all the time, right? Big smackdown, and then you end up with like a big kind of like shocks the market into consolidation. So no need to beat a dead horse. That's what we're seeing on Bitcoin. Ethereum, on the other hand, might even try to take off without it. You see the internal strength here versus Bitcoin? I mean, Bitcoin's going up and down. Altcoin or ETH is just kind of like up and up and up and up. It's not really hitting the bottom of that range, which I know looks a little bit ugly right now because I think I drew this on the hourly, and it's still ugly. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. I mean, look at ETH just parked up here, not taking the dumps. And I think personally, I mean, I don't actually own any Bitcoin right now, full disclosure. Oh, wait, I lied. I have some Bitcoin. Because so full disclosure, I sold half my DOT last week. We never did talk about DOT. How did we skip that? It's not in a great place anymore. It's in a good place, probably looking back, be like, oh man, that was low. But it's not in a great place. But this was a really nice trade this month, and I had to pay myself. So we got here. We had this, and this was, I got to say, this was well covered on our Twitter as well during this consolidation. I said, if Bitcoin goes crazy, this thing's probably going to see the reload zone. And so once it came, I wasn't worried about it. I was excited about it. So loaded up in here, and I sold half my position on a double. Where did I get in? Like 24, 23. And then I noticed on the weekend, I was like, oh shit, it's already in the double. So I sold half my position, and I love DOT, and I already feel a little naked without it, but plan is a plan. So I'm going to be reloading that pretty aggressively into this zone here. And that's just the way she goes, because again, nice slow decline, www.breakout, high volume. Oh, if you haven't got any DOT yet, I know the producer has been thinking about getting some. I can't tell you what to buy, where to buy, when to do anything because I'm not a financial advisor, but I am looking very closely in this 35 to 42 sat range, 4,200 sats. So glad we got to touch on that. I said I was wrapping up. Now I'm just fired up. Dot gets me fired up. You know what else gets me fired up? Serum. Breaking out to new highs today. New local highs. Heading straight from a TP2. Can't say much else about that. It's just moving along. A couple other positions I'm in. Solana. Just beating the shit out of this resistance here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Question mark. Need to see some more volume. Need volume. Calling back up. This thing breaks out of there, though. I would expect price discovery to hit, and that never does anything nice and easy. So careful shorting that one, I think. Looking to the right here at my portfolio percentages. I mean, what else we got? I mean, kind of went over everything I'm holding. Dia, another one I really like. Just wrapping up more for myself right now, guys, just because if I wasn't on the stream, I'd be checking my own charts. And these are the ones. I mean, sick bounce. I did not expect such a heavy bounce off this. It's already made new highs. You want to see more volume come in? Crazy breakout volume. Just looks like a market buy. But this, this is like low. Yeah, it was like flash in the pan, but it's consistently higher now. There's excitement in here. And don't forget, in January last year, Google partnered with Hedera Hashgraph. You can look up that press release, I'm sure, to get the, it's not like Google is their new best friend entirely. Google works with so many companies, but that's the stage they're on. I mean, think about all the anon shitcoins we talk about. I mean, Google is like, these guys are doing it. So don't sleep on that. That narrative will come back and drive this thing to Valhalla at some point. I'm sure of it. But again, can't buy here by my plan. But I can add on every dip. I can do what I want. Pump chaser zone down here, reload zones eventually. Or get right up into here and then get that dip. There's always going to be a dip. Always, someday, somewhere. If you make a plan around buying those, you will end up probably living longer, having less gray hair or more hair in general. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap here. Always a good time to cut just before it gets boring. Flip back to the charts, the studio. If you're still sticking around today, you guys, this is a marathon sesh, and we needed it. There was a ton of shit to look at. If you did not get your coin on the stream today, you can hit us up on Twitter. Just shoot me a tag, even a DM. Hit us up in the trading pit, and we'll try to get around to those because I'm always happy to share. And a lot of your guys' ideas end up being things that I'm looking at like, oh, damn. So it pays to work together. So we'll be back on Wednesday with Ledger Status. If you guys know him from Twitter, super smart guy. He's been on the show before. A friend of the team's, and really excited to have him back on and just going through this same kind of stuff. He's got a really nice look at the high time frame things like Ichimokus and all that stuff. So we'll take a look at all that and dive into the shitcoins with him. Until next time, guys, whatever you do, always play from a position of strength. Take care and have a great day.